And aren't car dealerships selling cars for greater than their sticker price nowadays?
They are. That is true. That's a great segue to our next topic. So our next topic is that car dealerships are selling cars for greater than their sticker prices. So why are they doing this? Well, there is a low amount of supply, and supply chains are being crimped around the world, so they expect lower supply in the future, but they're still trying to get as much profit as they can for the vehicles they have now. It's a what we call a seller's market, meaning the sellers can set the prices, the buyers have to match. And currently, you get your MSRP, your manufacturer suggested retail price on your cars, but again, the dealerships, they buy these cars, they own them. It's not affiliated with the company, so they don't have any requirement to sell its services. They buy them from the company. I think in some states they're required to actually give detailed lists of how their pricing comes out, but most have the MSRP value on them. But then the dealers can really charge whatever they want. And right now you've had people doing that they're charging a couple $100 over, a couple $1,000 over, in some cases $10,000 over, and telling people, listen, if you don't pay it, that's fine. Somebody else will, and that's true. Doing that because they're acting to what's happening in the market. They're seeing low supply and they're like, okay, I want to get extra 10 grand on this car. You won't pay that. That's fine. But there's a low supply. Somebody will come in and pay me 10 grand. So we'll literally rather have you leave and go buy it from the manufacturer and go through all that headache and actually then buy it here because I'm going to wait so I can find someone to pay that price. Uh, Currently, by mid-June, about 3/4 of all vehicles sold in the U.S. went for sticker price or above. That's 67% increase by the end of May, and 36% above the average for before COVID. So you're definitely seeing what supply chain cutting, limited supply chains are doing and driving these dealerships to do, and how they're playing based on new market forces. And there's no really end in sight here because there's just fewer and fewer cars on dealers' lot. As the supplies get smaller and smaller, people are going to want to keep buying cars. They're just going to have more and more pricing power, and they own them, so they have the right to really charge whatever they want. Something to note that what they're doing is they're actually requiring to get these prices up higher. They're requiring you to buy the extra features, right? Sometimes they're going to just put a premium on the car price, but a lot of times what they'll do is they'll say, okay, you can only buy this car with, an enhanced radio and a moonroof and, kind of inside your car. That's going to run you an extra $4,000. And they say, well, I don't want that. They say, too bad. That's all we're selling it with because we're trying to get as much bang as we can for our buck. And they know somebody else will pay for it. So if you don't, somebody else will. So if you're seeing cars that are more expensive and you're looking on the market to buy a car, just be on the lookout for these things, and be aware. Sometimes some of the alternative would be just you order your car from the manufacturer and you might wind up paying more, but you'll get exactly what you want, as opposed to a dealership where you might be forced to buy extra add-ons you don't want just to be able to get the car. But again, there's so many dealerships, so that's not to say for all of them, but that's just a trend that's being seen in the market right now. So just be on the lookout. If you want to buy or that happens to you, that's what's going on. Low supply. Dealers feel that they try and get as much profit as they have left in anticipation.
So, I mean, for car suppliers, is there a stock to look at that would be affected by this? And according to what's going on in the market, how would it affect their price?
Because they buy the cars from the manufacturers at fixed prices. The dealership owns the vehicle. What they do with it and how much they sell it for is completely up to them. It's no longer affiliated with those. Like a Ford dealership isn't necessarily affiliated with the Ford company, so they're not required to sell its services. I'm not 100% sure how it all boils down, but they do have a tremendous amount of freedom for how they price the assets that they physically own after purchasing them from the manufacturer, because that's how they really do this. They literally buy 5 cars and put them on the lot. It's ours now. It's your problem. It's not Ford's problem.
Interesting. Interesting.